meeting of the Oakland Mills Community Association Village Board meeting. We're going to open with our usual two administrative items. The first being approval of the minutes from the May 21st, 2024 board meeting. And note that because of an omission in the minutes at our last meeting, there's a notation in the minutes about a electronic vote from back on April 24th in the May 21st minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Yes.
Motion from Bill, second from Andrew. Any discussion of those minutes? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Paulette, if you, oh, she's not connected to video yet. Now she is. Paulette, we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. I was asking those in favor of approving, if you're able to hear us.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, do you vote to approve?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next up, we need a motion to approve the agenda for this meeting. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Whoa, I saw Warren hand first. I'll go with Bill as the second. Any discussion of tonight's agenda? Okay, all in favor in the room? Okay, that's 4 in favor online.
Me, Paulette. I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. Okay, so those are approved 5-0-0, and we are underway. So first up is pretty light agenda tonight, resident remarks. It looks like the only possible person here for resident remarks would be Ashley. Ashley, any remarks?
Hey, Jonathan, no remarks. I don't have an update for you yet, but I'm still working on that one we emailed about.
Okay, I have a slight one for you. I'll do that in the board chair report. All right, well, guess what? We're on the board chair report. Okay, so in the bulletin board last week, I brought up the Broken Land Parkway Stevens Forest issue with the poles sitting on the ground and everything. Ashley, I was able to take that picture from out of my car. I haven't had a chance to walk down there. But what I did was I went online, Ashley, and on the BGE site where you can report a streetlight outage, I figured out from the satellite view, like what poles appeared to be present, what poles appeared to be missing. So the pole closest to the northwest corner of Stevens Forest and Broken Land has been replaced, but the BGE site still lists that one as down. The next one toward Route 29 on Broken Land has not been replaced. The BGE site listed that one as actually good. So I reported that one as down, and I've since gotten a confirmation back from BGE that says, yeah, this needs a bit more work than we can take care of in a day. We're going to have to order some stuff. So it might be that part of the reason why the work hasn't gotten done is because in their system, they had like the wrong information on the wrong poles and didn't know how many are down or something like that. So what I haven't been able to do is really get to all 4 corners to take inventory of the other poles. I could just tell that that one wasn't there from out of my car. So, you know, that's sort of my update. So BGE is aware of at least one, but there might still be others at that intersection that they aren't aware of. And like I said in the email, the only way to get the poll number is to go to their outage website and sort of line up where they have the little marker on the satellite view with where we think a poll should be. And hopefully that's the poll number, because otherwise those polls were obliterated. So there's no way to walk up to them and go, oh yeah, this was poll, you know, 10,024 or something.
And Jonathan, I reached out to our BGE contacts so that way they can also have someone go out there and do a walkthrough of the area.
Okay.
Just so they on their end can confirm the correct information. So I'll give them that update you said as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. One other thing, and Amy, maybe this is something that Brigitta's already started working on with planning and zoning, but I know we've had some issues with actually the 7-Eleven construction site. So our understanding is that the developer or the developer's construction company, if they were going to close the sidewalk on Stevens Forest, they were supposed to create a temporary walkway with Jersey barriers out on the Stevens Forest Road. They haven't done that. The county has come out and erected sidewalk closed signs, but they are, I don't know how to describe how insufficient they are. Only one of them actually blocks your access to a sidewalk. Except it may be backwards.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming out of the other barn here towards Stevens Forest and you want to turn right to continue walking towards Shadow Oak and everything, it actually tells you right there the sidewalk is closed and you should detour and cross the street. That sidewalk is open. It's when you're coming the other direction that it should tell you the sidewalk is closed, detour across the street. The one on Robert Oliver Place outside of Pizza Man is on the ground because it wasn't anchored into anything. So you can't even tell that there's a closed sidewalk coming up. And then further up at like Stevens Forest and Santiago, instead of putting the signs onto the sidewalk to block access to the sidewalk, they put them off to the side. So it still looks like the sidewalk is open until you come up to this construction zone because it's hard to tell what sidewalk is closed because the signs aren't blocking the sidewalk. So I know Brigida has been in touch with DPZ. I don't know the status of things since Brigida's away today. But it's far from an ideal situation. The ideal situation would be for them to actually have that temporary sidewalk, you know, with Jersey barriers on Stevens Forest Road that I think they were supposed to have. And the other thing we're unsure of is if in lieu of that, they're just going to be closing the sidewalks on that side of the road. From what I can tell, the bus stop that's kind of between the Stevens Forest Professional Center and the future 7-Eleven has not been relocated. So people still need to be able to get to that bus stop and wait for it safely.
Jonathan, do you have one of her emails or the last correspondence you all have? That way I can know who she was working with.
I can look. I can't remember whether she's copied me on everything.
Okay.
I'll look for it after the meeting, and if I can find anything, I'll forward it. If not, I'll ask her to forward them to you when she's back.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and it's all kind of hard to describe unless you see it, but it's what as you're approaching it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The signs aren't. I don't think the signs are doing what their intended task. And like I said, the one sign that is blocking a sidewalk, it's blocking the wrong sidewalk. Okay, I think trying to look, do I have anything interesting going on? Nope, I think that's everything I had for a board chair report, unless there are any questions for me. All right, I'll send it over to Karen for CCR report.
Okay, I have a very short report. We had a very short meeting. This is actually going to be a very light CA board year. We only have 15 meetings scheduled. But last week we voted a little bit, we talked a little bit about the strategic plan, not in depth on the strategic plan, but what to do about it. And basically, we're just gonna wait until Sean McInnes is here, and then we'll work on the strategic plan with him, because we really want, we want him to have, we want to understand what his vision is, as not just the CA board. So I was pleased with that we'll push that forward. So, and that was really the only business that we took care of last week. Meeting adjourned. And just repeat, Sean will be in town on the 6th, and he'll be in person at the Board Operations Committee meeting, and so that's next time, and the whole board will be there for that, so that's next time we'll all see each other, and apparently we're all getting our pictures taken. And then I think there was some kind of, on June 20th, I don't know, Jonathan, you got it. I don't know if all of the village board is invited or not. There's some kind of reception on the 20th. And the
20th? No.
Village managers, board chairs, when I saw the list, but Julia Doran sent out an invite. I can look for it after the meeting.
I found something. I don't know if there was some session.
Yeah, if you probably got an email from Julia Doran, and I would really like to encourage you guys, if you are able to go. to meet everybody, to talk to the other boards. I think that, Jonathan, I think you probably know other board.
Yeah,
those, but
I think the only one I have from Julia is about the retreat that was
that
when I
just
had to
happened.
miss when I was away.
I will find it after the meeting's over. I will look for the invitation online.
Okay.
or phone and show it to you guys.
Okay,
And that's all I got.
all right. That was easy, thank you. Oh, actually, if I can back up a moment, I could do this during bulletin board, but I might as well do it now. I was talking with Brigida because, you know, there are summer travel plans and things like that going on, so we normally don't do a full slate of meetings all summer long. There's usually 1 week in there where, you know, someone's not gonna be around and we just decide, okay, that's the meeting we'll skip for the summer. Not that there couldn't be others if others aren't going away, but it looks like July will be the month where we do, you know, a 1 meeting month. So we'll take July 9th off and then resume.
I had camp the next day. I had to leave like at 7 a.m. So I'm really glad.
Yeah, we'll take July 9th off and resume on the 23rd. Yeah. Yeah, because I think Brigida's just gonna be getting back. I'm just
Yeah.
going to be getting back into the country like that night, and I think you're out. We're going to mostly to Switzerland.
Oh, I hope you have a fantastic.
So,
Can I go?
yeah,
Oh my
so actually, Bill, the second meeting in June, that's actually the night we fly out. So you'll probably need to preside, otherwise I'll be doing it on Zoom from the airport. And then we'll,
Okay.
I think because Brigida, Amy and I are all not available on the 9th, we're just not gonna do the 9th, we'll resume. Okay, sorry about that.
I can't wait to see the pictures.
I will bring plenty. I had a note to remind myself, and again, you know, undiagnosed ADHD.
There you go.
I'm too excited about sidewalks and light posts. All right. Well, we're on to committee reports now. I got an email from Andrew going, I have to do an architecture report. I don't know what that's a placeholder. For architecture, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm working with Mike to close out things that came through the rack while I was still the acting architecture chair, and basically up until the point that we appointed Andrew as architecture chair. So there are still a few things I need to review and sign off on because there were some outstanding questions on some rack recommendations that Mike got back to me on today. So really, that's just to inform all of you about, you know, how we're transitioning. And then Andrew and Brigida and I, and probably the covenant advisors, need to get together soon so that we can tell Andrew more about what he has gotten himself into.
Okay.
So
Good times.
it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
bad.
Michael
Um,
will guide you.
But very often, the architecture report has just been something like that, like, oh, you know, we're seeing an uptick in applications, or, you know, for whatever reason, we're seeing like, you know, this type of violation has increased recently, you know, let your neighbors know that this is something they should be aware of. Generally, if architecture really lands on the agenda, it's because we're hearing an appeal, or we are voting to refer something to the 15-day letter process, where it might then go on to CA. And we'll walk you through both of those processes. But otherwise, architecture committee is sort of has a standing place on the committee report, and very often I would just say pass,
Okay.
you know, nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing newsworthy to report.
That's good.
Education, I have nothing new to report there.
When is graduation?
Friday.
Most of that, graduation is Friday at 3 p.m.
Awesome.
Oakland Mills High School graduation is Friday at 3 p.m. I would expect some kind of unique performance because under the Jeffrey Fink administration at Oakland Mills, there's always a unique performance at the Oakland Mills High School graduation.
My neighbor graduates.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah, that's-
excellent.
my daughter's
Excellent. Yeah, we know a lot of people graduating as we get closer to the,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then actually I'll say, well, no, this is, I guess, also, actually, no, I did have one other thing. I did attend a while back. I had reported that, Stevens Forest Elementary is part of the community school program under the Maryland Blueprint. Had reached out and interviewed me, and then they came back and asked if I would be on this community schools steering committee. And at the time I went back and I said, I don't have kids there anymore, right? And they said, well, yeah, but we want a community member perspective too. I said, okay, so I think it was a week and a half ago. It's all blending together now. Anyway, I went to a steering committee meeting, and it was interesting. And I gave my 2 cents where I thought I had the 2 cents to give. For most of it, I kind of deferred to the others in the room because they were either teachers there or parents of actual students who are actually still heavily involved in the school. But it did help to give some, I guess, historical perspective and also some perspective about like what's going on at other schools in the community or where we've seen things before. And basically, what they're trying to do is make sure that they make the best use possible of this community school designation and the funds that come with it, to basically support the students, especially the students who are most vulnerable and most at risk, and target interventions properly, while also doing all they can to enhance the reputation and just the community feel of the school. So it was interesting to do that.
Are they
And
restricted on how they can spend the money, Jonathan? Like,
I don't.
can they
didn't-
hire a teacher? Can they?
No, I don't think they can hire a teacher with that, but I think they can fund other types of programming. Now, they can hire teachers with Title I funds, so they have some,
Okay.
what they're called Title I teachers. And they actually use the Title I funds, to hire teachers that otherwise, would not be able to be hired at the school. The woman who runs this is actually there at the school because of the funding provided by the community schools. So in some ways, I guess the answer to your question is yes, but they can't, for example, just go out and say, we need 3 more math teachers.
Right.
Let's use the community school funds to hire 3 more math teachers. That's all still formulaic. And the other good news is, because of demographics and other factors, they've kept that community school designation into next year because, there is always a chance that the designation can change. And then, you can potentially lose some of those opportunities. So they have, I think they'll have some interesting things going on, as a result of this. And I don't think they have any more meetings scheduled this year, so I'll see what they reach out and ask of me over the summer. And then I guess, instead of saving this for bulletin board while we're on this, the weekend, next weekend, the weekend after this coming weekend, what do you call that thing? Let's just call it July
Weekend in June?
9,
Maybe
10,
June.
10. I mean, June, yes,
Is
the
it the
first.
8th and 9th?
The first, yeah, it's the 7th and 8th. Thank you. I'm on the wrong. June 7th and 8th is the last of the Oakland Mills High School 50th anniversary celebrations. So I believe the evening of June 7th, there's an alumni dinner. And the school is selling tickets directly to that. So if you're an alumnus of Oakland Mills High or know someone who is,
I'll see, I'm
You
gonna
may
see
be
if I get
interested
some
in
people
that.
together
Yeah.
for that because.
information is on the website. And then Saturday is going to be the first annual Squirt Fest. So that's going to start pretty early Saturday morning. There's a 5K. It's a run or a walk. So it's a community 5K. There is a registration fee. Proceeds will benefit the Fine Arts Boosters and the Oakland Mills Cross Country Team, because those are the 2 organizations organizing it. The school kind of came up with the idea and said, well, now we need someone to do it. So of all things, the Fine Arts Boosters got pulled into an athletic oriented event. So there's going to be a 5K. Registration information for that should also by now be on the school website, as well as the Fine Arts Booster website.
It'll be in the e-news
And
this
it'll
week,
be in
and then I'll put it in
and
school
several
news
other
too.
things. And then after the 5K, they're doing a kind of a festival, sort of similar to what they did in the fall before the homecoming game, where they're going to have food trucks and, people will be there, doing face painting and stuff like that. So it'll be kind of some, family fun. So if you don't have plans, especially on the 8th, I think the 7th is more, targeted toward the alumni, but the 8th is really for anyone. There's the race and then there's the festival afterward, and that should close out the 50th anniversary celebrations at Oakland Mills High School. And then one last thing, since we didn't have the other committee report, I'll just take more time. A nice thing happened last week at the Oakland Mills Middle School Spring Concert, which was held at Oakland Mills High School. I think we had shared that Oakland Mills Middle School went to Hershey and in their school size group, they got first place in band, orchestra, and choir up at Hershey's Music in the Parks.
Good for them.
So before their concert started at the high school last Thursday night, they had a little surprise. Senator Lamb and Delegate
So-
no, not Teresa, Feldmark, thank you. I started to say Teresa because I'm used to running into her and it was not, it was Delegate Feldmark. Surprised them and brought in a proclamation from the General Assembly
Oh, very nice.
commemorating their sweep at Hershey. So that was very nice and, Delegate Feldmark, turned to the students. And-
Competitions, that's very.
yeah, so Delegate Feldmark actually turned to the students out there in the audience and on the stage and said, you didn't just make Howard County proud, you made the whole state of Maryland proud. And there was a big
Oh, that's
round of applause and everything, and they handed the proclamations to the teachers, so that was nice.
Nice.
All right, I think I'm done.
Hmm.
Public space, Warren.
Public space. We haven't met in quite a while, so. I don't really have a lot, but I was thinking about the year. And we had, I guess the accomplishments were we moved a light, there was a light on Mellon Brook. Where it was almost impossible to see at night and low chain, and they moved it after 6 months. And many thanks to Ashley for pushing that along. And now we have a safe corner there in Thunder Hill. Let's see, we have the South Entrance Trail is supposed to be designed in 2025. So that's the trail that goes from the lakefront to Oakland Mills Road underneath 29. So they'll plan it, and then I think they have most of the money for that. So that will be,
That's a county project.
yes.
Okay.
And then,
Kicked out, she's back in the waiting room.
Yeah.
so the other part of that is on Stevens Forest Road, there's going to be a bike lane or path that goes from that, where the South Entrance Trail comes out on the Stevens Forest Road up to Parallel Lane. So that'll be, not sure if it's a separate, separated lane or connected lane or not, but that's the county doing that as well. I
They
think
could
that's,
totally do a protected lane
yeah, that would be nice. And that's
on that side, apparently.
right on the side.
It'll be harder on the other side.
Yeah. So you actually have to come out and cross Stevens Forest if you come once that pathway's in, and then come across. So
I'm
but
excited.
that'll be fun. We have to make sure that happens. Keep tabs. I've been working on this since I started with probably before I was on board, the pathway along Maryland 108. We're trying to get a crosswalk at 108 at the Red Branch Road, the light there, so that the Thunder Hill neighborhood can walk across the street safely without. And there's a lot of businesses over there. I think a lot of people don't realize. And so that is on the schedule for, I believe, 2025 again. So to put in the lane, the pathway along the south side of 108. And that means you can put in a crosswalk, and that means CA can put in their connecting
Right.
to the Orchard Green top line. And so then we have a way path to take us all the way across there. So hopefully that will happen in 2025. So I'm hoping, Karen, that you can help push
Yes.
for the path that goes. It's going to be very short, just goes through the
Mhm.
gate there. 100 yards, yeah, I think it's 100 yards, 50 yards. So the other thing is that land, air and north is, they're gonna do something to it at some point.
They put pipes in a long time ago. I always just assumed that those pipes that they put in for like bathrooms or something. It seemed like it was sewage, it was like, like a sewage sewer line or something. So of course, I think they're gonna do, you're talking about our side, right?
Ours,
Yeah.
ours.
Mhm.
And that's, but I wanna make sure that it's, that we don't, I would like to limit the lights on the north side. So it was very disruptive on the south side, and I would like to have our input in that and make sure. And we've had other things like Jim on the committee has pushed for a, Frisbee golf course on there. And he's talked to people about it, but I'd like to see what the plans are now and what's happening and what the time frame is. And when are they putting in the entrance into that from 175? So it's all be kind of
That-
life changing for the Thunder Hill community.
It will be. I would like to see instead of. I think that the overpass is important because all of the traffic that goes down Sohat Lane. Like they're gonna block off, my understanding is when that overpass goes in, they're gonna block off, what's that very first street? I can't think of the name of it. On Open Mills Road. Just before Sohat, that court there. Yeah, Shadow Fall Terrace, so and I think they get a lot of cars parked on their street who are using the thing, but one thing is. I don't know how like, but they're gonna stop the road there, so in other words, you have to use that overpass to get back out, which. I actually think that's fine, I think it'll decrease the amount of traffic on Thunder Hill Road as well. And the people are so happy, but one thing is I'm concerned about is how much traffic will then be driving into that area on our side. I'd rather they fix it so that there's like some sort of a pedestrian crossing,
Which is,
so that you walked in and that whole side was, I mean, you can, I think you can still make it ADA compliant, but that you didn't drive into the other side,
but
you had to walk.
I don't think there's going to be a connection to say Glencoe Road on that, on the north side. So you go in, you just go to the park.
Right,
It's gonna, the overpass is so you can get to westbound 175, because right now,
right,
the only way to get to westbound 175 is to go through residential on Sohap and Thunder Hill, or to go through residential through Long Ridge and on the Tamar.
So will that be?
I don't think it
I
would be a
don't-
clover.
I don't think it'll be a full clover leaf.
But
Yeah,
the intention, I
there's no
think,
cost.
was for you to be able to drive across into the park on our side, and then there was gonna be a lot of parking. Like when I looked at the original.
I think
plans,
there
there
is
was a
gonna be
lot of
parking,
parking.
because people, there won't be enough if they're gonna use the North Park even for, nature trails and pavilions and things like that. There isn't enough parking on the
They were
south
gonna add
end.
more baseball fields from what I saw, I mean, I don't know if that's.
I think it's small.
Softball fields, and there was just gonna be a ton of parking, and I thought, I mean, cause I haven't been in that park recently, because it just, the weather gets too hot, and there's too many ticks.
Right.
And,
I was thinking,
there was something was going on in there the other day when I drove by, I saw a big tractor, some kind
So
of
they mow
truck,
like
and,
twice a year,
yeah, they don't mow that often.
so we do it a little more. Or at least have some main trails.
Yeah, I mean,
Do it as soon as they, that's a common statement. Once the ticks come, people stop going. 'cause-
well, it never gets cold enough to kill the ticks off anymore, so that's part of the issue, so I don't like to go in there, I used to go in there with my dog all the time. It's lovely, I've always taken advantage of that when I could, but, it's not, that to me, the area is not big enough for the amount of parking that they wanna put in there, and Jonathan, I don't have a solution, I agree with you, there's not enough parking on the other side. But that one field area, they could change that all into parking, I guess, where it's not really anything there, that's kind of their overflow parking now, but.
I was kind of hoping that there's parking, south side and then people walk to right.
Yes, that's what I'm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pedestrian bridge, but I don't know if you're going to convince people with that kind of money into just bike and pedestrian.
I feel like
Well,
that
I don't-
actually is the cheaper.
So
option.
here's the other thing. I get what you're saying about the north side based on the experience of the south side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna convince our whole community that's best, because the south side is already dealing with all the overflow from what's
No, I
just happening on the south side.
Yeah.
You add the north side and then have all the parking here along with what's already on the south side in the tournaments. The high school and the middle school aren't gonna be enough overflow for that. They're gonna have to pave. Basically, they're gonna have to pave everything the county owns on the south side to accommodate all that if they're not gonna put any cars on the north side. I think that's the other problem we're gonna run into. Because they don't have enough for just the south side right now, which is why they need to use the schools,
That's why they need the school.
which is why they use the schools.
Sure.
Yeah,
For the front. Was there, I didn't see, like, it just seemed when I drove by, was it Sunday afternoon? There was hardly anybody at them. I was surprised that there wasn't a lot of activity there, but, I mean, there was activity. There was at least a baseball game going on, but not like this across. the street.
But anyway, I think there should be discussion about it. We should get ahead of the curve instead of having it, we should have that discussion and say, where are we gonna park people, that kind of thing. It shouldn't just happen, that usually things happen in the county where suddenly you know about it, then you say, I'm sorry, it's too late for
We
a
should try to-
discussion about it. Just get ahead of it, track it.
We should try to partner with the Long Range Village Board too. They have a lot on their plates with their village center redevelopment, but this impacts them as well because Phelps Lug backs up to that park also,
It does.
you know?
the other thing I'm not sure about when it comes to that overpass, I know that's in the plan. But usually overpasses over state highways are also constructed and maintained by the state.
Yep.
This is a county park. Has the state even committed funding to this overpass?
I don't
The
know,
county can't build an overpass.
no, not across.
Not across the state road.
75?
That's because that's 175, and
Yeah.
the numbered street is a state street.
Yeah.
Our road,
Okay.
yeah, so that's Maryland's. That's why. The county, like 108, that sidewalk pathway, that was, I think it's. The county had to kind of bend over to get that done, so they had to get approval from the state to do that. But that's something that we should really look into.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, the other thing that happened was the light and pedestrian enhancements are promised on Stevens Forest and Broken Land. And that happened. And that's pretty exciting.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill, for bringing that to our attention by risking your life several times across. And, that's really it.
All right.
Forward to another good year.
Thank you, Warren. Well, we're already at the bulletin board, unless, did you have anything to cover for Brigida? There's
No, I was
guidance
just gonna
report.
say, Ashley during the multiple, just, note that she sent her report, so you guys can read that. The one thing that I would point out on there is a staff board picnic on, June 9th. So if you haven't RSVP'd for that, do it soon.
I'll
They wanna
definitely
make
do
sure they
that.
have enough,
I did it while I was sitting here talking to you
Yeah.
earlier.
I will be
I'm
there.
coming.
I am going to probably be late and then have to leave early because I have, Sunday commitments, so.
You know, I used to have a boss where if I said, oh, I have a doctor appointment, I'm gonna need to take a couple hours in the morning and come in late, he would always say, well, if you're coming in late, you may as well leave early too. Anything else?
No, I already talked about graduation. That's the other big.
Congratulations.
And she got a full ride scholarship, not a full ride, full tuition.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
What's your favorite child?
Right now, yeah. Well, my oldest daughter also gets, she goes to HCC, so things are covered.
Good. Congratulations. Bill,
Nothing for bulletin board.
I pass.
Pass, I got
Andrew?
Yeah.
Warren,
Lettuce.
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 You know what?
Yes,
Paulette?
any lettuce.
Paulette,
That's me.
anything for the bulletin board?
No.
All right, then let us adjourn.
I knew that was coming.
awesome.
That's.
Okay, let me see if I can find that email. Right. About.
I got help.